And we're back. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Whoa, that is very interesting that Crow is in on it. And that's probably what Ruby was talking about when she was writing her letter, that some things that we didn't even know about that I can't trust that will reach you in this letter. Okay, so. Let's start from the beginning. Because, wow, that's a lot to unpack right now. Hold on. Um, let's go with the last song is without a doubt a Yang song. I'm listening to the lyrics, and the best part is the play of words where it says I'm armed and ready. Love it. It's so good. So rich. So well thought. It really is well thought. So we'll talk about songs in the next part of the final analysis and thoughts and musics and the things that I do in the end of every volume, which should be soon, hopefully. Time permitting, of course. Oh man, I'm getting so excited that I'm able to finally do this. This is such a great stress reliever, honestly. Coming out here, enjoying the show, talking about it with you guys. It's so good, and I'm so happy that I'm able to do these couple of videos today, so that's definitely a huge plus in my book. So it's making my weekend. It really is. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Okay, let's start with the fight. In the fight, I'm guessing Ren was getting a little bit too emotionally attached to the entire situation when he saw Nora get hurt, and he thought to himself that probably he was going to lose more friends and more people that he cares about. So he might have gone a little bit on the far end there, and not to be blamed, of course. Emotions are running high, especially with something that has such a dark history with you, and you get consumed by it. But started charging head on. Forget all the safety precautions. Forget all the protection things. Just, I'm ending this right now, right here. I don't care about the consequences. No thoughts given, no thoughts into it, and it's just end the game. We're finishing this here now, you or me. And when that happened, he also lost his aura and became vulnerable. Nora, however, fortunately, was able to snap him out of it, make him realize that he still has people left that care a lot about him and that will be severely affected if he does end up throwing his life away like that. So that's a definitely good thing that Nora was present. Um, they worked together, and then he was able to get a form of closure in defeating the last, or not the last, but this boss type Grim. Um, One thing that I am curious about, does the thing have two brains? And if it did, then it's a little bit symbolically heroic that Nora finished one. Excuse me. It's kind of heroically, symbolically cool that Nora finished one of the brains with the horse head, and then Ren finished the rider. Um, for my father, for my mother, for my friends, for everybody you've heard, and the last one is for me, so that I can put you finally behind and close that dark chapter in my life. Um, they saw the smoke. The rescue patrollers came in. They weren't rescue patrollers, they were just normal patrollers, but they came in and they picked them up, and the day is saved thanks to that. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Cinder is preparing herself emotionally to face Ruby. And for some reason, I don't know why I lost track of Mercury there for a moment, but I'm certain now that he's there in the Council of Evil. Salem, by the way, I remember or not remember, I heard the villain's name. Um, Now I'm certain that Mercury and Ember were like bickering with each other, slapping each other around at one point in the beginning. I had my doubts, but I'm certain now that he was there. And and with that being said, Emerald is creating Ruby in a victimized state where she's like, oh, it almost looked like she's been defeated to see if Cinder will have second thoughts of sparing her. I'm guessing to numb herself with her emotions towards Ruby in a way. And she just completely incinerated the illusion of Ruby. Um, Ruby gave a small recap in a way in her letter towards Yang out of everything that had happened. And my question was, are the events happening in the same time, like all in parallel? Or like the cutscenes near the end, were they all happening in parallel at the same time, or were they separated into this happened and then this happened, but we're interchanging between each scene so that you can see things as they transpire? Because if Ruby did send that letter to Yang, did Yang receive it or not? Because if she was already on her way when she was speaking with her father in the shed while she was looking at her motorcycle, where are you going? At that point in time, I don't think the letter had come in yet because they were talking about Ruby had mentioned that she was going to go to Minstrel. So that was my a thought that crossed my mind. Did Yang receive that letter or not? Um, and if she did, then I'm guessing they were just alternating scenes between the timeline, kind of like is like this. This is Ruby writing the letter, and this is Yang getting the letter. But they kind of like, for the sake of time convenience, intermixed both scenes, both time events, at the same time, and interchanged them as they were developing. Um, so I'm guessing Yang did receive that letter, and then what we saw afterwards happened afterwards. I'm sorry, I said it wrong. What we saw at the same time that when Ruby was writing her letter, happened after Yang received Ruby's letter. I think. So that's what I'm gonna base myself on for now. Um, and then it ends with Professor Lionheart meeting with Mustacho Man and saying, Salem did say that your hospitality was always welcoming. Now, there is a history between Ozpin and Lionheart, apparently, because he's the headmaster of the academy. And Ozpin said that he helped decorate his headquarters. And there was even the tea set that they were drinking tea from when they had that cutscene. So, how far is Lionheart in there mixed with Salem and the gang, or is he playing his own game and playing them for what he's playing them? It can get very muddly really fast depending on how you think about this. But that's going on. So the big guy was gonna go get or look for the spring maiden. Mustachio Man met with the headmaster of Haven Academy. That's why it's called No Safe Haven. Haha. Ah, ha, I got it. Because it's possible that they are compromised. And mm, so what else? What else? What else? What else? What else? The final scene where Oscar meets Crow and says, "Give me my cane back." Crow is like, "Hey, nice to see you, Ospen. It's good to see you again." So, so, so this changes my original concept that I had originally created back then, where Ospen was in another time zone. I mentioned something that Ospen was in another time zone, and he was just, you know, not synchronized with his world, but he was able to communicate with Oscar, and then the thoughts were there, the interaction was there. Oscar is there, but Ospen is still like somewhere. But then we talked about how there's a possibility that Ospen has transferred himself into Oscar, and and now that seems to be the case. Ospen is now with Oscar, and we were talking about, I talked about Orlando and Omar, and how one person transforms into the other person, and then their memories get transferred into the other person when you transfer between persons. But the last person is the active person that the next person hears. And it was just this big mess of possible scenarios of different soul transfusion, spirit transfusion, whatever you want to call it, transfusion. And that seems to be the case. So people that have O names receive this spiritual being that has the previous O names. And I can't help but think like Avatar in a way. I started watching Avatar not too long ago, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. The fact that the Avatar is able to like communicate with the previous avatars of back in the day, and it makes me think of something like that. But you don't go back beyond the previous O person that was before you. But he has all the experience and the knowledge of everybody before him. Because the person before him had all the previous and experienced knowledge, and so far, so forth. So then I'm guessing that now Ospen is with Oscar. And then if Oscar were to, do his thing, then Oscar would be the one to go into Omar, and then same thing. Omar goes into Orlando, and then same thing. Orlando goes into um, Osiris, I guess. I don't know. I can't think of O names, but this solidifies that a little bit for me. That's how I'm approaching this particular scenario, and I don't know where this is gonna go. I don't know where this is gonna go. Makes me wonder. Makes me wonder a lot of things. It really does. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but this thought just came, and it seems like an old thought. Maybe I've thought about it before. But what if part of Pyrrha went into Cinder? What if the same thing that happened to Ospin, happened to Cinder and Pyrrha, and maybe that's why they're training Cinder to become heartless and incinerate a victim, Ruby, raising her hand asking for help. What if that's why Cinder needs that additional training to be able to control her power and become the girl with all the power? What if? Oh man, oh, this is actually really interesting. What if Pyrrha is able to come out through Cinder, just like Ospin is coming out through Oscar? And what if Cinder and John meet in a dark alleyway and John is enraged by what happened? And maybe Ruby can be there too, because she was the one that saw it happen. Oh man, that would be something interesting to see. But that's just me thinking. I don't know. I don't know if it'll happen or if it's actually what's going on with Cinder right now, but definitely that's something that crossed my mind right now. What if Pyrrha's soul was also transferred into Cinder when she absorbed the remnants of the Fall Maiden's energy? That would be something, wouldn't it? Alrighty. What else can I think about this, where we're currently sitting at the finale of Volume 4? I'm kind of sad. I'm kind of sad that I didn't see Junior. I was really expecting to see Junior show up and like straighten out Yang. That's something I thought about. You know, if he comes up, he's like, "Hey, Blondie, why are you moping around?" But you know, it didn't have any good connection if you really think about it. I was just thinking like maybe Yang one day was gonna go by, get her strawberry sundae, and sit in the darkest corner of the bar, and Junior's looking at her, and then feels empathy for her because of the fact that she's missing her arm. And then I thought he was going to go out there. It was just a thought that crossed my mind. Kind of like this thought with Pyrrha. Oh, man. But that would be definitely something, wouldn't it? Anyway. Yeah, let's move on to close the Volume 4 finale with the soundtrack and my final thoughts on the entire series so far. So I'm kind of doing that right now. So let's leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate everything you do, all of your support, and you guys are awesome. You truly are. So I might do this tomorrow, actually. So, and not your tomorrow, my tomorrow, which might be some other time for you guys. I don't know. But it's getting kind of late. It's 6:30 at night. So, with that being said, once again, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate you, everything you do, all of you guys, all the things that you guys do. There we go. And all of your support. So, until next time, take care, mouse on the stop button, and bye-bye.
ふわふわふわふわふわふわりくるくるくるくるくるくる回るのふわふわふよふよふわふわりうるるくるくるふわふわ飛び出したの